What is going on, team? It is your friend Austin here with AP Space, and today we are going to show you guys how to do PCB routing in OrCAD PCB Editor. So let's get right to it. We have our schematic, and if you guys remember from our previous video, we imported a resistor and an LED from Ultra Librarian and from Snap EDA. We also imported a connector. This is a USB type B connector, and this is the complete schematic. Quick overview. The hotkeys are wire, or W for wire to connect all the nodes, and G for ground. So if you click W, it gives you a wire. Click delete for that. If you want to add a ground, click G. Use this ground, click OK if you want to add a ground. So that's the update on that. We see that our footprints look correct, and now what we need to do is we need to go to PCB. If you have not made a layout before, click on new layout. If you have the layout already up, which I've already created the layout, you go to update layout. There are no differences shown. We'll go right back to our PCB editor. Okay, so this is our PCB screen. This is pretty much what pops up right when you go to the OrCAD PCB editor. Now, what we would like to change here is we would like to go to Setup, Design Parameters. I like to work in millimeters, and I like to go size A1. And that looks fine there. Set up grids. I'll go grid on, apply, okay. And that is just the easiest way for me to work with. I like to work with the grid. I like to work with that setting and in millimeters as well. Now, to make the board, we want to go to shape, rectangle. We want to draw the rectangle here. Place rectangle. Okay. Hold on. Let's delete that. Delete. Okay, that's okay. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so we go to shape, rectangle. We would like to place the rectangle. Let's size everything up here. So we're in millimeters. What do we want to make the size? Let's go. We can make the PCB pretty big. So let's just go 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. That's probably too big for how many parts we have, but we're just showing you guys the gist of everything. So that'll probably be fine. Just 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, and then our board looks like this. You would probably like to do place rectangle instead of draw a rectangle, so you can type in the parameters. We want to go to round for the corners and maybe trim everything by 10 millimeters or 1 centimeter. So we'll save that setting. We see now that we have a PCB board that is a square that has nice round corners, that nothing is pokey on the corners. We place that, and then we go into move to get out of the PCB placer, and notice that for the board outline, let's click on our board outline. How do I get the board outline back up? So I'm going to show you one more thing that's very important that we need to go back into. Place, go to shape rectangle. When we place the initial board here, we want to go to board geometry and select design outline after we click on shape and then rectangle. So when we are placing our initial PCB, that is the settings that we want. We want board geometry, we want design outline, and that is how we get everything set up as far as the board is concerned. So we're not going to go in too much more detail into that. We'll just go into move to place out of that. Now, assuming that you have imported all your parts correctly, and when you go right click, show footprint on all your parts, that is how everything should show up in the right side of your screen. All of the corresponding parts should have parts that look like this. It should be a green outline, look something like that on the right side of the screen. If you don't have this for every part, you have not imported something correctly, and you need to re-reference the import videos. Now, when you would like to place your parts, you go to place components manually. We have all our parts here, and everything's going to go very smoothly because I've imported everything correctly the first time, luckily. So okay, so J1, place that. Okay, so R1, place that. LED one, place that. Okay. So that has all been placed. We can close out of there. Now we have placed all of our parts, which is the good news, and we would like to move some of the parts around. So we'll click here. We'll click on rotate. There we go. The rotation's a little strange in OrCAD. It's kind of hard to get used to. Okay, so this is going to drive me crazy. Okay, stay right there. Okay, now we would also like to move this over here. Move R1 over here. Let's move this to the side of the board where the connector would usually be. So that should be correct. We have our LED here, our resistor here, and if we reference our schematic, we have our 5 volts going through the resistor here. The resistor is giving us some protection for the LED, and that's how the circuit's going. So we now go to this icon here, add connect. Click on that. We go here. How do we want to? Let's make it diagonally like that. Doesn't have to be anything detailed or fancy. That's how you make the connect. Now you make sure we're still on add connect. We haven't clicked out of it, so we're still there. We route that there. And then we wrap up our board by going there. These two grounds are tied together. We'll tie those together. Now, if you would like to add a connect and make a 2-layer board, you'll need to click on the screen, double click, and the yellow line is actually a layer within the board. So that is how you're able to go under something. So if we have a yellow line, we can go here and then go under traces. So that is how you're able to cross traces in the board if you're making a significantly larger PCB. I have made a single board flight MCU that has way more nodes on the board than we have here. So you're going to have to go under the nodes if you're actually going to connect everything. If you have sensors and you have RF modules and microcontrollers, CPUs, FPGAs, memories, you name it, all that good stuff, you're going to need to go under the nodes like that. And if you want to go back up, you double click and then you have the green. And that is how you keep going in between layers. The green layer is the top layer. The the yellow line is the bottom layer. So that is how you're able to do that. In OrCAD PCB Designer, we can go ahead and delete all of this now. Click on the delete icon. You just double click on everything you want to delete, and then that is how you delete certain parts. This PCB did not require any layer 2s, so we'll just kind of leave that as is. And congratulations, you have routed your first PCB in OrCAD PCB Editor. So our first PCB is complete. I'm really excited about what I'm in development here. I'll show you guys the website that I have and our first products and some of the boards that we're bringing up as well. So apspacela.com. So here's the start of the website, and we have the schematics for our first product called Photon 2 V0, and we have Photon V0 layout, and then the full project folder, and then a test art JPEG if you'd like to download the JPEG. But anyways, I'm trying to put the PCBs that are physically there on Amazon and the website once we actually get the PCBs manufactured. So these are not the actual PCBs. These are just the schematics and the project files. These are all virtual products. These are just downloads. We're working on getting all this manufactured, but this is the website, and this is where a lot of the products are going to be listed in parallel with all the videos that we're doing for the tutorials. Thanks you guys for supporting the channel, and have a good one.